Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Baader F2 optimized filters for F2 systems such as Hyperstar. And I feel like these filters are often overlooked. I think most people that go for Hyperstar will end up just getting the 3.5 nanometer and 4 nanometer filters. But there's a significant price difference between the two, right? So a set of 3.5 to 4 nanometer filters will set you back about $1,300. Now, these filters, the 6.5, will set you back about 800. So there's a significant difference in price. And I just haven't seen a lot of videos on this, so I thought I'd make one for the community. And also, this is a video that I needed to see back in the day. As you know, if you've been with me for any amount of time, I upgraded to Hyperstar a few years ago, but for a while, as I was transitioning into that product, I was still shooting with my ZWO 7 nanometer filters because I was still getting signal through them, right? And a lot of it. But tonight, I think what we're going to do is compare the two so that if you're thinking about getting Hyperstar, or any faster focal ratio system, you can see for yourself what a normal set of filters are going to look like versus the optimized filters for your focal ratio. And the reason why these filters even exist is because of what's called bandpass shift. Because of how the light enters the tube and at faster focal ratios, if you shoot with normal filters, you'll start to get less signal or no signal at all. With these Baader F2 optimized filters, that kind of solves that issue, and you're always going to get the most signal possible through that. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, just in case you're wondering, why you actually need these filters in the first place. Also, we're going to be testing the light pollution rejection on these filters too, because tonight is going to be a 99% full moon night. Oh, yeah. And our target's going to be pretty much right next to it. I selected the Rosette Nebula tonight, and we're going to try and make an awesome photo of it. So I think I'm going to have a few hours to do this, maybe more, if the night goes well. But first, let's take a look at these filters. Now, they'll come in these little boxes, and if you look at the box and the picture here, here is one shocking thing that I realized when I first got them. So see how those filters look? And I have the HA and O3 version. Honestly, for Hyperstar, I'll just use a 12 nanometer S2 because I had one already and that's wide enough for the system. But these filters don't look anything like what they're pictured on. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that when you're buying them so that you aren't as shocked as I was when I got them. So they actually come wrapped up pretty nice, and this is kind of a wax paper kind of deal. Um, I really like that. It just keeps these really expensive filters safe, just another layer of protection. But here is what these filters really look like. And they're they they're still constructed nice. I don't know if you can see that. My camera's not focusing right now. I think that's better maybe, but it certainly doesn't look like what is pictured on the box. So I just wanted to let you guys know what those filters look like. Also, a neat thing on these boxes here is they bond together like this, or you can just snap them apart for storage. And they just kind of slide on uh, to each other, which I think is a really cool feature. I usually keep them like this in my bag, so they're all together. But I don't know. Just thought I'd mention it. All right, it looks like sundown is happening, so let's get on out there. There it is. 99.1% moon tonight. And Orion is right next to it, where I'm shooting into. Oh my gosh. Alright guys, it's 7 o'clock on the dot. I am shooting in ZWO 7nm, just the regular filters through Hyperstar. And we're going to see what we're going to get out of it. I know it's going to be pretty good. I've always had good luck on Hyperstar with the ZWO filters, at least in HA. But that's the real test is the O3. But I'm curious to see what the Baaders do against this, because I've never seen it side by side. So yeah, Hyperstar is hyperstarring now. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm getting some pretty epic signal with just the ZWO HA filter. I mean, that's not looking bad right there. Wow. Right, just finished my sequence, and in goes the Baaders. Now we're gonna see some stuff. Okay, just got my first sub back with the Baader F2s, and there is a major difference there. Oh my gosh. Look how bright that is. Oh my goodness. Yep. I think I was definitely nerfing my system with 7nm. Oh man, meridian flip at 9 o'clock at night. Success. This is going to be really interesting. I just switched to my ZWO 7nm O3 filters, and I think it's going to be really interesting because the moon is like right next to my target, and I'm shooting O3, so we can kind of see what the rejection is on that and how much O3 we're going to get at F2. I'm not expecting much because O3 is the worst when you're shooting at F2. That bandpass shift just totally just nerfs the signal. So I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like, and then putting in my Baader F2s and seeing how much signal that we get, because we already established in with one single frame in HA, the ZWO 7nm and then the Baader 6.5nm. There's a huge difference there. So I'm going to assume that when this data returns, there's also going to be a huge difference. All right, here it is. So it's pretty faint, actually. O3 is pretty darn faint there with the ZWOs. We were expecting that, but at least we got a baseline. Now I'm really curious to see what those Baaders got, but it won't be for a while. So I'm still collecting signal in O3. I got 11 more subs to take. One thing's for sure though, rejection on these filters are not bad. I mean, my target's next to the moon. I'm not getting a lot of gradient, so 7nm is quite adequate, you know, in bright situations. I know I'm getting some bandpass shift there, but I mean, they're doing their job, so not bad. All right, it's too cold to go out there right now, but there is a Baader F2 O3 filter in there, and I'm waiting for the first sub to come back. I'll see how much of a difference that totally makes. Interesting result. You know, I think we're going to get a better gauge on things when we see it on the computer, but it's not as dramatic as I thought it would be. But I'm definitely getting more signal with the Baaders, for sure. Yeah. Alright guys, well I'm all packed up right now. It is 11:30. I stayed out here a little bit longer. than I previously thought, but I got a lot more data. But we'll take a look at it as soon as I can. I gotta work, I think, for the rest of the week, and I don't know, maybe we'll sync up with this data sometime over the weekend. All right, this is good night. All right, guys, we are back. And did you notice that when I filmed my nighttime sequence, I actually had to shoot that with my cell phone? I packed my mirrorless camera up, but I didn't put an SD card in it. Man, astrophotography, always something going on there, right? Anyways, we did get a lot of data last night, and I ended up shooting nearly 4 hours. I got 40 minutes in each filter. So I shot 40 minutes in the F2 filters and then 40 minutes in the ZWO 7nm filters each. One thing I didn't do was shoot through the S2 filter because I didn't think it was fair. I don't have a Baader S2 F2 optimized filter to test, so just letting you know that up front. All right, so let's take a look at our data. So here's our ZWO filter and 7nm, and as you see, we are getting some signal in there. It's actually not too bad, but if we compare it to our Baader F2 filters, check this out. Oh yeah, this is a major difference right here. And again, remember, these are single subs, right? So if we look at it closer, yeah, no contest. The Baader F2s win in this instance with hydrogen alpha. But both actually do a pretty good job with the full moon out, with the light pollution. But you'll see that the ZWOs actually have a lot more vignetting versus the Baader F2s. And a lot of that has to do with how the light enters the tube. All right, let's take a look at our oxygen 3. So here is, here's the ZWO oxygen 3 7nm filter, and it's pretty faint. Actually, the oxygen 3 in the Rosette Nebula is super faint, but we did get a lot of signal through here. A lot of vignetting too. Here's the Baader F2s. Whoa. Oh, whoa, why did I do that? I'm sorry. And here are the Baader F2s, and first thing off the bat is they do look pretty similar, right? Although I would have to say the Baaders have a lot more even exposure. But if we take a closer look at things, the ZWO filters are really, really noisy. Let's take a look at the Baader O3s. Oh yeah, we are getting better signal to noise ratio in the O3 channel with the Baaders, hands down. So over time, even though these look similar, stacked, the Baaders are going to get a lot more details and a lot better signal than the ZWO 7nm filters, right? So that's what that looks like. One other thing I want to show you is I did have a little bit of fun here because I had a whole lot of data to work from. And if you remember this photo, this is a test photo I took in 2023 during my ASCAR series. Since I had a little bit of signal, I ended up doing a star alignment and scaling everything in PixInsight to combine all my data that I have from 2023 and then again on the 2025, what I took last night. And here's what I came up with. And I definitely got a lot more color in there as well. And I'm doing this weird thing in 2025 where I'm just kind of whiting out oxygen 3. I really dig it. But it's really cool how PixInsight, it's just so easy to combine data from different focal lengths and different cameras. I mean, it's just actually amazing what the software can do. And I thought this was really, really cool. Also, let's take a look at just the data from last night. So I got basically 2 hours in HA and then 2 hours in O3. And here are my stacks, and I do have my stacks here. Here is the ZWO 7 nanometer stack. And still not bad. You can use 7 nanometers with Hyperstar, technically, right? But how much signal did we lose? Well, let's check it out here. Here is the Baader F2 stacked. I would say that's quite a bit of signal lost. This is after the meridian flip, so that's why the light pollution here is on the right-hand side versus the left-hand side in the ZWO filters. But you can definitely see that even though we're getting signal with the ZWO 7 nanometer filters, we're getting quite a bit more with the Baader F2s, right? So not bad there. There's actually a different story that I found in the Oxygen 3, and let me show you that really quick. So here's the ZWO 7 nanometers stacked, and it looks quite a bit better than our just single sub-exposure, right? But we have some problems, right, with this filter. We're getting a lot of weird gradients and all this weird stuff going on with it. With the Baader F2s, we didn't get any of that actually. Even though we had some light pollution going on, the exposure is a lot more even than on the 7 nanometer filters. So there's definitely a big difference here when I take a look at it. And up close, even though these look similar, check how noisy that 7 nanometer filter is, even stacked for 40 minutes. It's pretty darn noisy. And check out the Baaders. It's a lot better, right? It's definitely cleaner, and we are getting a lot better quality of signal, right? The signal to noise ratio is undeniably better on the Baader F2s. Also, since we have about 4 hours of data, right? I did some combining my 4 hours of data, and here's what I got from it. So this is 2 hours in HA basically, 2 hours in O3 almost on the rosette, and I removed the stars so we can take a look at how much signal we got combined. So here it is, and we actually got a lot of detail here. We have detail in both the stems, some pretty nice color for bicolor, you know, and we're resolving a lot of dark nebula in the rosette and finer details, and especially down in this fainter area here. And I don't know if YouTube is displaying this properly, but in this area here, I'm picking up a lot of background hydrogen, and I'm seeing a lot of tendrils, like hydrogen alpha, like dusty tendrils coming out of the rosette. And I can't wait to get more signal on this. It'll probably be next year when I get this. And I'm thinking about adding a few more panels onto this because I really want to, you know, see more of that background. I think I can expose that with Hyperstar for sure. But it's really impressive combined how much detail I was actually able to reveal. All right, guys, well, there you have it. You got to see what these 6.5 nanometer filters can do. We also have a direct comparison now between regular 7 nanometer filters and these F2 optimized filters. And while we did determine, yes, you can technically shoot through Hyperstar using regular 7 nanometer filters, it probably isn't the best. You're better off using those filters on a slower system, because that's kind of what you're achieving with Hyperstar, right? You're getting the equivalent data to, say, an F6 and in some cases F7. Well, I guess that's it for this one, guys, and don't think this is the last video on these Baader F2 filters. I actually have another one planned, but I just need clear skies and also nebula. We are heading into galaxy season, so whenever that video comes out, I'll make sure to update that in the post. But I guess I'll see you on the next one. Peace.